Hey John here, it's Monday, so that means some more picking advice. In this one we're going to cover a lick as usual, but also a really effective way of getting faster when it comes to your picking technique in this case. But it also hinges upon you having a pretty good solid base for all this stuff for it to work, so I'm going to talk a bit about that as well. But if you're interested in this stuff, stick around and we'll get right into it. Alright, here's the slow version. We start on the 5th fret of the E string. So this lick is based on the A harmonic minor scale, and we start with this pattern. Gonna start 5, 7, 8 on the E and A string, 6, 7, 9, and then 5, 7, 9. Then you repeat that, the same thing in the next octave, and only compensating for the B string. So that's the same thing as that one. And then you have to shift up one extra fret to get this one, but this is two of the same shapes. So and this leads us up to the flat 6 of the key, and from here we're going to play diminished 7th 3-string arpeggio, and it goes like this: 13, 10, 12, 13. And the way that I picked this is a downstroke, pull off, up, down, down, down. So then you repeat the same thing 3 frets up. So basically where your pinky is, that's where your index finger is going to be, and exactly the same fingering. So diminished 7th arpeggios are quite handy because they're symmetrical. So once you know one shape, you can just move that shape up in minor thirds. So only difference here with the picking is we're going to start with an upstroke, since we're coming from a down sweep here. And then leads us into an upstroke again, to the root of the A, well, the key. So we're gonna go down an A minor 5-string arpeggio here. So we're gonna go down 17, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 12. The way that I pick that is up, pull off, up, 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 down. So again from the beginning. Alright, so in this lesson I'm going to cover 2 ways that you can use to get your speed up and how to work on specific licks that you have a set goal tempo for. This is based on a comment and question I got from my YouTube subscriber. His name is Sad Shaw, and he writes, "Hey John, can I suggest a video topic regarding plateaus? Currently I'm working on a 2-string 6-tuplet alternate picking drill, and it's been a couple of months and I feel a bit stuck between 90 and 105 BPMs. As a beginner, I can't tell if I've hit a plateau or just need to put in more work and more time to get faster." So, thanks for the question, and the way that I approach things like this is in 2 parts. So the first part is to make sure that you have a general practice routine for your specific technique that you're trying to get better at. This is really, really important, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to apply the actual practice techniques that I'm gonna show you in a couple of minutes. What I mean by a basic practice routine is that you look at whatever technique you're trying to learn or improve at, and then you break it down so you can see what motions are involved and what the possibilities are. If I look at alternate picking, for example, basically whatever you're going to be playing is going to be based on 1 note per string, 2 note per string, 3 note per string, or 4 note per string, or a combination thereof. So if you can work on those areas, and you do that starting with a downstroke and an upstroke, you're going to be in a really good place when it comes to learning pretty much anything when it comes to alternate picking. You don't need to make a schedule that covers everything every day, because it won't be enough time, but you should have these clear categories where you can put your exercises into, and then you can vary the exercises. And you can also vary what type of category you want to put more of an emphasis in. So if you're really into, Paul Gilbert 3-note per string stuff at the moment, then you work more on that. At least make sure to put some work into the other categories as well, so you can keep developing that. So when you get into your Eric Johnson phase, you will be pretty set to go for your 2-note per string stuff. So that's basically how I think about this stuff. And the way that I practice this is to do it very systematically and slowly, but I do the whole transition speed thing. So I would do, for example, if I'm practicing 2 notes per string, I would make sure that I go through 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 2 3, 2 4, 3 4, so I cover all finger combinations. So I'm basically gonna make sure that my left hand is getting developed to the full extent, and the right hand as well. The tempo that I would do this at will be somewhere around here, so 8 notes at around 70 to 80 BPMs. I'm not going to go through exactly the routine I would be using now, but that's the basic ingredients of it. So slow tempo with fast transitions, using the transition time method, using whatever categories that I've decided is important for that particular technique, and making sure to do that systematically. That's my basis for making a really good general practice routine for whatever technique I'm working on. I'm going to assume that you have this in place because this is really important, so you have the basics. So just to have something to apply this to, I'm going to show you this 12-note thing. So we have 6 notes going up, 4, 5, 7 on the D and G string, shift up on the same string, go down 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5. So basically, yes, 12 notes starting with a downstroke. So I have the phrase, and my goal tempo can be 120 BPMs. And let's say it breaks down for me as well as it did for the YouTube subscriber at 90 BPMs. All right, so what would I do then? First approach would be to do normal speed bursts, which is basically where you play 2 notes to begin with, as fast as you can, or as close to the goal tempo as possible. So in this case, we're gonna go that, right? And I'm gonna try to play that fast. And as you can see, I'm not doing this, because I want to make sure that I play it fast, relax, and reset. That's very important, okay? So, and everything needs to be perfect as well, because if you do a sloppy speed burst, it's not gonna help you. You can't sit like that, that won't do anything except practically destroy your technique, right? So, and if I'm happy with that result, I add the 3rd note. And then I add the 4th. And if that works, I add the 5th. Now let's say the 5th here is feeling a bit dodgy. Then what you would do is that you count out the notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you start building it backwards. So I'm gonna go 4, 5. Making sure that I start on the correct pick strokes. It will be an upstroke in this case, so up, down. If that works, I add previous note, 3, so I'm gonna go 3, 4, 5. Let's say this is difficult now and you have a hard time here. Well, then you identified a problem area, right? And it's a pretty logical one, the string crossing. But then you do another speed burst within that. So it's almost like these Russian nesting dolls, right? So now we have 3 notes instead. And then I build that up forward and then backward as well. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That works, I go 1, 2, 3. And I can do that backwards as well. And then if all works, great, I add the previous note again. And if that works, I add the first one again. Then I move on from there, add the 6th note. And just because you're doing speed bursts, it's always a good idea to do some slow transition speed work as well. So just going, and then trying it fast again. And if that works, you just keep adding notes. Now it's going to be 7. Another thing to keep in mind here is not to accent the last note. It's very easy to go, or do things like that. But unless that note is going to be accented in the overall run, you don't want to accent it. You want to pull back, right? So you want to try to keep it, the dynamics pretty even here. So when I go to, unless I really want to accent that note, I try not to do it. And if that works, let's keep adding notes like that. Second approach, use a metronome. And I call this beat to beat. And as the name suggests, you start on one beat, end on the second beat. And then you go on from there. So I'm going to turn on a metronome here at 100 BPMs. Not the gold tempo, but faster than I could play on paper, right, in this example. So I'm going to try that. So I'm going to start on the first beat and end on the second beat here. So and now I had one beat in between. You can have 2 beats, 3 beats, whatever you want. The only rule here is that you want to reset so you can relax and don't build up tension over time. This works. I'm gonna start on the second beat and go back here again. So this would be technically be the third beat right now, right? So and if that works, I would do the same thing again, but add going up again. So that would be 1, 2, 3, and then end on the fourth beat. And then you can keep adding beats like that, or you simply start raising the tempo. So maybe I go up to 105 or 110. And that's basically how I approach working on this stuff. Bonus tip here is to take the phrase, and this is based on 3 notes per string. Just go up 6 notes, go down 6 notes. It's very easy to translate into these systematic finger patterns. I would take this and start down here. So basically go 1, 2, 3, shift up a half step, and then go up like that the whole fretboard at a slow tempo, so not faster than 8 notes at 80 BPMs in my case. So focus on quick transitions. And then I would do the same thing with 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and do that on all string groups. So this could be something that I add to my basic practice routine. There's a way to combine learning a specific lick, but also expanding it, so you're not only being able to play it here, you can play it pretty much anywhere on the fretboard with any fingering eventually. So that's a really good way to incorporating both things. Right, so give this a try. If you have any questions, just post them below. And also, if you have any issues with a particular technique or how to practice or whatever it might be, just post that below and I'll have something to focus on in a future lesson. Thanks again for watching and see you next time.